Guys, I'm in Malahide this time, and just a beautiful location. I realized that with the GoPro that is stuck on the tripod, nothing much you can do, but with the Osmo, which is a magnetic clip, I can easily show you around in multicam. Where am I? So for example, I'm here in Malahide, here you go, and with my Sony A7SIII and all the other shebang. Unfortunately, the microphone is dead. I have to deal with the sound onboard sound. Luckily, it's not that windy today. It's actually perfect. So with a little bit of tinkering in post, we'll be doing something great. But why we are here? We are here. Where is that? Because today I'll be trying something new, which is like film photography. I'll be loading, here you go, my first roll of film, Ilford 125, in this beautiful Pentax Espio 150V, which is, I have this camera for 20 years. It's nothing beautiful, it's a point and shoot camera, but takes film. And I just put fresh built batteries into it, and I can't remember if you all the things, but should be very straightforward. I remember that I was younger when I was doing this, so let's crack him. I have the film somewhere here. Oh yeah, look at it. So that's my first roll of film, and very straightforward, hopefully. Let me see. Jesus, no, it should be like this, yeah. So this, it says its own slot, and you just load it in here a little bit. Probably I put too much, but when you close it, yeah, it should find its own way. And now we turn on the camera, and that's kind of it. Now there is a timer here, and flash should be obviously off. We'll set it to landscape maybe, and what happens is this is an absolute automatic camera, so I just want to do, luckily I have the same tripod mount which goes in here, and with this Ilford camera I want to mimic the 3 exposure that I just took with my digital camera. And we have this again, what we have this beautiful hill in front of us, we have the marina there, and in between there is a ridge of land with some puffy clouds on top of it. So I think that will work beautifully. I already took 3 pictures with my Sony camera just to make sure everything is fine. Unfortunately, this camera cannot be used with long exposure because it doesn't accommodate filters, but without any ado, let me just switch the cameras and doing something. It's a new era for me. 20 years ago I was shooting film, and as an amateur level. Like, I was not at all professionist or everything. This camera doesn't require a light meter because it can autofocus and auto expose everything. So I just try to see how the real film looks like when you shoot it compared to when you desaturate color sensor in post and pretend that you are doing black and white photography that mimics films. Anyway, let me change the camera and we'll take it from there. So for the first time this camera comes on a tripod and I just say wow, Such a bright, it's an absolutely bright. I'm not sure. I don't know if it's, is it taken? No. Now we're talking. Now we're at maximum distance. Man, it's absolutely bright. Bright. It is the rule of third somehow. And it's taken, isn't it? Done. Okay. 4, 5, man. 6. Probably timer is set on 10 seconds, yeah. 7. It's great. And that's it. We have 8 exposures. I may try actually a vertical composition if I can. Yeah, it's taken. That's it. I'll put it back now. I have 10 exposures here. What can I say? What can I say is I want to take the same photo with my digital camera, that red boat that sits there in front of us, and away she goes. So that's it. That's about it. I will be trying to shoot film as well, color film, just to make a comparison, but we'll talk more in the studio, back in the studio. I'll give you my final conclusions. In the morning I came up with this idea of what if I shoot film, and I have this camera lying around. This is a completely amateur Espio 150V Pentax that cannot does manual control at all. You cannot use it for long exposures. You cannot fit a filter, as you can see, but you know, as a first roll of film, you probably don't need to. You just go out and shoot, and obviously just to mimic long exposures, somehow I chose this splendid day that is here in Ireland, and I went to Malahide, and the rest is history. You saw me doing 3 exposures of a peaceful somehow you know, landscape. Now recently I purchased a product from Really Nice Imagery that promises you, similar to Film Convert, to somehow convert the color science of your camera into film emulations like Fuji and Kodak, Provia, whatever, Porta. I couldn't find Eterna, but doesn't matter. It has also black and white emulation like Ilford Delta and so on and so forth, and it's just an amazing tool. Like it really looks like you are shooting film, but it's not film, because today's cameras are like computers. They are clinically perfect. The exposure, the focus, it's out of this world. It's something that a man cannot achieve. So if you go back in time 40 years, the lenses were no match for what we have today. So everybody would have a little bit soft focus, and you know, exposure wouldn't be perfect, obviously, and so on and so forth, unless you probably shoot with, I don't know, Hasselblad equipments or other fancy cameras. But today probably even an entry mirrorless camera is much better than what we had before. But film maintains its magic because it can capture an infinity of colors, and it has this grain that you know, you don't get it in digital, and it has this texture, and it's, I don't know, it's like poetry. So I said, why wouldn't I try this? Now I found in a shop, and I'll be purchasing today online, I found the legendary Canon EOS 1V, which is a DSLR made by Canon. I have few Canon EF lenses lying around, so I don't have to change my filter, my Lee filters, which I'm happy with because I can adapt them to my Canon lenses as well. So I purchased 2 rolls of Kodak Gold and 2 rolls of Ilford Delta, and once I have this camera, the next shoot I'll be shooting along with my digital Sony. I'll be shooting these film photos and we'll see how it goes. Obviously it takes time to develop and scan and do all that, but hey, it is what it is. Man, it's so hot. It's like 22 degrees, but it feels like 30 here in Ireland. So that's it for today. We'll see you at home. I'll see you in the digital room, and we'll be editing those 3 photos that I took, and whenever I get the film back from scanning and whatever developing, then we'll compare the results, and most likely film will win, but hey, it is what it is. See you. Okay, so basically we're back in the studio, and I have my black and white film developed. This is my first ever film after 20 years. It's what was that? Ilford 125 FP5. Yeah, FP5. And the lady from the shop gave me this very nice which is probably standard, you know, it gives you this sleeve, and she cut this film strips for me. It seems very trivial, but actually if you look carefully, the distance between the sprockets in the film strip is just so ever slightly. It's probably around 2 millimeters. So if you try to make a straight cut with a regular scissor, you'll struggle because you may go a little bit slanted and then you cut into the frame. Crazy how difficult sometimes. So there are tools for that, cost you around 40 euros. I don't want to pay that, but anyway, the labs sometimes are nice and they do that for you. Now I requested only the film to be developed because I just don't feel like playing with chemicals and stuff like this. It's not my cup of tea, but I want to be part of the editing, because obviously when you shoot film, the idea is that you're going to print in the darkroom. You print on a contact paper, but for that you need a special place, like a darkroom, and then you need a special device to do that, and then you have to do all sorts of film strips, and it's quite fascinating. But ultimately my work is here on the social media, in the digital space, so no matter what I do, I still have to convert to digital at some stage. So you won't see it, but there is under my table, I have a scanner as well, an Epson V600, which probably I'm going to be selling because I much prefer the DSLR scanning with the Valois system. And I scanned a few of those, I don't know, I found only 9 out of 10 exposure that I took. Maybe I counted badly. I don't know, I just got 9 exposures. And I just want probably to see first how those exposures looks like, and then to compare them with few of them, with 3 photos that I took with the Sony A7SIII, and see basically if we apply a plug-in, if digital looks the same with analog, which probably doesn't, but let's see how it goes. So now we'll go our attention to the screen, and as you can see, I'm in Lightroom, and the reason I'm in Lightroom is because in order to develop a negative, which looks like this, you need actually to use a plugin called Negative Lab Pro, and this is a purchase that you have to make, and it doesn't come for free. It's about 100 euros, but it's made by a dedicated person that deals into that. You see, this is a DSLR scan. It's kind of wonky. It's not that straight or anything like this, but it doesn't matter. Once we're happy with, we play the enter, and then we'll apply the plugin. Now, as you can see here, I have the option to do it. Obviously, this is a black and white, so we'll just convert the image, and wow, that's how it looks like. You have some options here. and you can check out the histogram as well. Everything looks, you know, sometimes I can maybe decrease the highlights, and I can try all sorts of like highlight software or whatever. I don't see this is like a light leak. Kind of surprised. I'm not sure what's happening here on the right side of the screen. The date is also embedded. This boat here in the left side, there's probably what I can do is actually just crop this light leak, crop this, and maybe why not make it 4 by 5. Yeah, and the date somehow we may try to erase it, and probably that's a much better photo. It's just a boat. Yeah. Now basically, after I have imported the Sony images as well, they are not identical to the one that I shoot with the film camera, because I had only one tripod, so I had to change the camera between them. It's kind of the same subject, so we're just going to see like the overall aspect. Unfortunately, I don't have a similar identical photo, but anyway, so now if we go back to the screen, what happens is here, for example, I have also I did some long exposures. Now we have, oh my god, don't tell me that. Now we have to develop them again. Oh my god. All right. Yeah, so again, now we can what we can do basically now is to try to edit some of the photos coming from the Sony A7S III as well, and the easiest way to do is to press the auto button and we'll take it from there. Now I don't know what it does here. It's kind of too bright. Maybe if we can bring the exposure down a little bit, and contrast, we add the contrast a little bit. I don't like too much vibrance. Vibrance can go to saturation as well. It's kind of too much saturation, too much vibrance for my liking. So this is the photo, which is obviously, if you're going to compare it to this one, to this one that we have edited, for example, select a candidate. So select the reference photo. Okay, so obviously they look completely different, and the reason they look completely different is because one is color and the other one is black and white. So if we go back to the editing window, now we can apply, if you look here, the RNI toolkit, we see the Ilford Delta, and let's put Ilford Delta with grain, because I think we have to use Ilford Delta grain 400 in order to make something remotely similar. And now if we're going to compare, so this is I don't know, so this is coming from the Sony and this is coming from the Pentax. I wouldn't say it's much of a difference, to be honest. I mean, sure, this is a long exposure and this is just shot at a much higher shutter speed. I wouldn't be able to tell you, because this camera doesn't display. But if you look at the way the sky is rendered, for example, I would say it's fairly similar. Obviously the water, it's hard to say, but look at the foliage. Now the foliage in the black and white photo, it's much more darker than in the than here in the digital aspect. But I would say that it's like this photo has some sort of a red filter on it, or a green filter. But other than that, if you go to luminance, for example, and we select this, for example, let's see if it does something. It does something? No, it doesn't do anything. Green, okay, so this is the green luminance. No, I wouldn't say it does anything. Anyway, yeah, they are quite difficult. Now, obviously, in the film photo, you have some errors here. If you look at the, there are some developing errors or sort of scratch and dust, where digital doesn't have that many. Now let's move on, for example, to another shot. So for the moment the image is quite promising. So we'll take this. This is again coming from the Pentax camera. This is just some apartments there. As you can see, I try to use the rule of thirds in some sort of a horizontal fashion. I have the water, the apartments, and the sky. The sky was totally uninteresting, but let me see if I have this. Oh yeah, here. Composition is completely different here. What about this one? The composition is completely different, but again, if we remove this dust particle and we apply the secret sauce, which is auto, I think I like what it does. And then we go to Ilford 400 grainy. The reason I'm applying grainy and not 100 is because it's Ilford. Well, actually, I don't even. This is actually Ilford Delta. I didn't even shot it Ilford Delta, but I don't have an emulation. Oh God. Anyway, leave it like this, and we are now trying to compare this building, right, with this building. They are the same. Oh wow. How come they are the same? Yeah. Again, look how much details this time the digital photo captured, and and the film photo, there is basically there is absolutely no detail in the sky, while the digital managed to capture a lot of. So it's quite a difference. Obviously, the digital image is much more sharper, but the overall tonality, if you look at it, is not that different. I wouldn't say it's much of tonality. It's just the problem is with that particular Pentax camera, it was obviously impossible to get the exposure. I had to use an automatic exposure, so I don't know where the camera was measuring and what was it doing, but obviously the highlights were blown out, and that's that. So if we go back to the film, which one is it? Yeah, this is the film photo, and probably we can try to get some details. I'm not sure which one. We may try to get some details from the sky. Maybe if we apply a different profile, like highlights, soft, no. Linear, gamma, deep, no. Linear, flat, no. I wouldn't say we can recover. Probably, yeah, contrast. Let's play with the contrast. Doesn't do anything. What happens is, unfortunately, the camera blow out the highlights. But I find it quite difficult to blow the highlights in the black and white and in color negative. It's absolutely almost impossible. Probably it's just the metering. The histogram is still healthy. Maybe the sky was like this without any texture. Quite bizarre. Anyway, I would say that we learned nothing out of it. Sure, digital looks quite different than film, and film looks quite different than digital. But then again, this RNI plugin is quite close to reality in terms of tonality. Unfortunately, I did not have an exact similar composition, so we can appreciate, because for that you need to shoot in the same time and from the same, to have two tripods or the camera on top of another in order to make it work. I didn't have that, so the pictures were taken at a certain distance of time among themselves, but it doesn't really matter. I would say that RNI, it's still an option. It looks real, and you can save some money rather than shoot film, but film has its own fascination and its own workflow that obviously is much more intense and much more fun to do rather than simply drag and drop a plugin onto a photo. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you next time.